Okay, this is the last take I'm doing with this. I don't care. Okay, so the reason being, this is like the umpteenth time I think I've tried to record this because it's such a heavy topic and it's hard to bring that message across. So you'll have to forgive me. This is for anybody who's going through a tough time, a very very tough time. And I'm just going to be real with you for like 3 seconds here. First of all, my name is Amanda Nardozzi. Hello, all, hello one, hello all. Welcome to my little ferret den. We're keeping it warm here. We're keeping it cozy. I am a spirit channeler. I usually channel via tarot and oracle. Sometimes I receive messages in my dreams for the collective that I like to share with you all. Sometimes I do receive messages upon waking up or falling asleep. And this one just happened to be when I was waking up this morning and I had reached out to spirit and I had asked, is there anything that the collective needs to know? And I'm not sure how many of these kinds of messages there will be, just because I feel like I didn't go in. I don't know what compelled me to like ask in that moment, but I feel like I didn't have the proper measures up to like protect myself. So like, I mean, the message itself is fine. It's just a matter of like once you open the door as a medium, sometimes it's hard to close it. Like a medium channeler, like whatever you call it, like when you're connecting with spirit, opening the door, closing it, sometimes the hardest thing. And I feel like I didn't have the proper stuff in place. So you'll have to forgive me as it's kind of all over the place. I had my pen. I'm like half asleep. I'm like, I'm supposed to be sleeping for this last hour. But as I was like, you know, channeling and hearing it, I was like, scribble, scribble, scribble. So don't mind me. I'm going to be looking at my little chicken scratch here as I try to walk you through the message. But essentially, to ask for a message this morning, and I feel like this message is very imperative to get out to the collective, especially like today. Like this is same day getting it out there. They showed me an image of my own, and they show me symbols. I get things very metaphorically sometimes, so they'll show me symbols and then I translate, and it easily translates for me, but it might not translate very well for you. So hear me out. I'm going to give you basically what I saw, what I heard, and then my interpretation of it, because that's like the cognitive understanding that it came with, or the what you would call a claircognizant understanding of what that symbol came with. So there's a symbolism of my spiritual table on the other side of the room that I usually give readings at. And I see something like water, but it's almost like seeping off of the top, like spilled water on the table, but it's not coming off of the table like water. It's almost like it's just blood slowly, like really thick blood. But it's clear. It's translucent. Okay. So it's like coming off onto the surface and then it's dripping onto the floor very slowly, very slow. It's like molasses. And given that it's my spiritual table, it came with that claircognizant understanding that it was somebody's faith bleeding out, like somebody was losing faith. It's almost like, but it came across as like a very strong, heavy, like they were wounded from something, not physically, but in a sense spiritually, like they've been knocked around a little bit, like they've been around the block a few times getting knocked around. So this message is for whoever feels that way, who feels that, I heard the phrase, I can't go on like this. So this message is for whoever is feeling along these lines of, and I mean, again, you'll have to forgive me that for the heaviness of this message. I will put a trigger warning out there that, this might have heavy topics of depression and, suicide and those types of things. So just be wary. But that's the kind of stuff that we're going to dive into. The message itself isn't something that's very strong in all of that stuff, but the for the person who it's for, or the people who it's for, might prompt it might not prompt these types of feelings, but it's meant to ease these types of feelings because spirit is talking directly to those energies. Okay, so there's a feeling of I can't go on like this. I I heard something like, I heard nearing end of life. So either somebody who is very old, who is about to approach the end of their life, or it's somebody who is giving up to the point of thinking about ending their life. And Spirit says that, like, from Spirit's perspective, it's someone in Spirit telling me that whoever this is, they're focusing a lot of energy, like a lot of your energy is focused. I'm just going to talk directly to you as if this message is for you, okay? Like, I'm not even going to, because, like, I'm getting confused with all of theirs. So if this message is for you, then I'm assuming you're still here, that this message is for you. So you're focusing a lot of your energy inside. It's turmoil. There's a lot of things happening externally. And because of that, there's a lot of unrest and dis-ease and heartbreak on the inside. And because you're focusing a lot of that energy inward, it does seem like the rest of your world is falling apart because you're focusing your energy on your pain. But you're not really giving it time and space to heal. And it's important that in these times that you focus on other things, or that you work on finding solutions to everything that's collapsing around you, just or like focus on rebuilding rather, just so that you know you're not getting closer to the edge. So I heard specifically someone got fired from a job. Now this could be as something like, it could be symbolic of somebody walking away, like just like saying, I can't actually be at this job anymore, even though I want to, I have to leave. Or it's like somebody could have just left involuntarily from the job, like fired, or like maybe they got laid off or something. Um, but there's something about letting that energy destroy your life. Um, don't let that one thing lead to your downfall. Everything feels like it's crumbling around you because of that one particular thing that happened, which does suck. It really does. Let me just validate that and say that's awful. Like that's our state of security. I know somebody who, like, and again, I don't want to speak for him because, it's been a few months since I've talked to him before he passed, but it almost seems like that was just one of many tallies in the box for why he chose to leave this world. And I'm feeling his energy come in. Sorry, man. I'm feeling his energy come in as I'm talking about him. But it is a very, like, there's something at the root of it. There's something more. So if you're watching this, then you already know that, it's not just your job. It's almost kind of like if you're somebody who has not suspected that you have a lot of really heavy 12th house energy in relation to things like, like a negative thought processes, beliefs about yourself, negative views of the world. If you're somebody who is swallowed up in depression, anxiety, often I do urge you to seek professional help. But if you're somebody who hasn't acknowledged those things, and that's something you're just now coming to realize, or you're thinking like, oh, hey, like, that might be me, just, try to be more aware of that, because the awareness is the first step into trying to make things better. And I know, like, this doesn't really seem to be like, I feel like I don't want to speak to somebody who's like, it's not that I don't want to, it's just like, I know sometimes when you're so far down in it, you really don't want to hear things like, oh, I don't really know how to make it better, I just want things to be better, because it's too hard to rebuild it. Because a lot of these are internal, and when we are kind of like, when we're programmed in the way that we think already, and that way of thinking or those belief systems that we have are not serving us, or they're not working, when something collapses, it's hard to bring ourselves back to like a homeostasis thing, like emotionally and within the world around us. It's hard for us to problem solve because it feels like everything around us externally is happening. But anyway, back to the message. I just want to like elongate on that and all that other stuff. So I'm just going to dive right back into the bullet points. I have right here, interestingly enough, right as I went on my tangent, I actually wrote down, wait, I need to write this down. And then I saw like somebody hand me a scroll, because at the time, like when I was getting these messages, I wasn't writing them down. I was just like, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually getting a lot of stuff, a lot more than I thought I would. Maybe I should go grab a pen and paper and write this down. And then someone in spirit had given me a scroll and said, they had said, hold this for me, please. Or like, can you hold this for me, please? And then like, almost like that was my soul kind of talking to me, saying like, okay, we'll wait for you to come back. So I went and got a piece of paper, and then I sat down and I was like, okay. I saw, if you ever seen Mario, it's me, Mario, like the video game. I saw Mario actually hang from a ledge, and then there was sunset in the background. Now, the sunset was beautiful. I don't know if it was like a sunset or a sunrise, but either way, there was beauty behind him, and he wasn't seeing it. He was hanging off of a cliff, and he was kind of faced towards the cliff, and he could see some of the light, so I feel like there is some hope here. But it's almost like he was so focused on just hanging there, like he could pull himself back up, but he wasn't, because he didn't see the sunset behind him. He didn't see the beauty that there was. So you have to, I basically see you representative, like Mario's representative of you in this situation, where I feel like you have to pull yourself back up onto like the top of this cliff so that you're not falling. And I feel like Mario, like himself, is just, it's a very lighthearted character. This is a very lighthearted video game that's just kind of thrown into this reading full of very down, awful energy. So I feel like if you're somebody who plays Mario, for one, that could be confirmation that it's for you. But also, if you're not somebody who does play like Mario or like Super Smash Brothers or anything like that, this is this feels like a call to try to indulge in more fun things, so that way you can keep more of a light heart, and that actually primes you to see the light a little bit more than how you're seeing it now, because it's almost like you have a lot of serious and heavy energy around you, and again, you have to like remove yourself a little bit in order to deal with the pain. Do you understand what I mean? Like, because it takes time for pain to heal. I feel like my jaw's a little squeaky because I'm kind of getting a little, I'm feeling a little under the weather, but I was like, I have to get this message out today. And I don't know if it's my nose that's squeaking or if it's my jaw. That's weird. Okay, sorry. I'm like, this feels weird. It feels like a mouse squeaking. So, for something to look forward to, whoever this message is for, Spirit is saying that you actually have a family in the future. Like, you're going to create a family in the future. Now, I asked Spirit because not everybody wants a family. So I was like, so this message, like, if it's for somebody who, like, you know, does not want a family, like, is it for someone who doesn't want a family? And then I just saw, like, I was like, okay, so for the people who want a family, this is what's coming in for them. For the people who don't want a family, and I was waiting for their response, and then I just saw a Spirit just kind of go and shrug their shoulders. So I was like, okay, so it doesn't mean the message is not for you. That just might be that, like, you know, but Spirit made it clear that whoever this message is for, like, this is something that you dream about. Like, you dream about a family, you dream about having, like, a husband or a wife, or, like, a partner of some sort, and then, like a child, or, like, even just finding someone and then just starting a family. There's something here about starting a family. And that's one of your dreams. And it's like they showed me a really massive clock, and then this clock ticking close to midnight, and somebody just like trying to move the minute hand to actually get to midnight. And basically, that to me, that that symbol, I have this card that I use often, or like I have this deck that I use often. It's called Secret Garden. It's like a cute little, I call it my Enchanted Forest deck. But they have very simple messages on it, and one of them is Twilight, and it's basically something about surrendering to the final hour to let Spirit work their magic. And this is exactly what it means. Just when you think you can't hold on any longer, Spirit will pull through. And this message could be that for some of you. For some of you, it could be just waiting for a miracle of some sort. But Spirit's asking you to hold on a little bit longer, because you don't want to close the situation or close out these energies, and like right when you're about to. It reminds me of like somebody who's working hard for their dreams. It's kind of a different scenario, but someone who's working hard for their dreams. It's that very famous meme, or that famous picture of like working hard for your dreams and like digging for diamonds, and then the man that just stops and gives up and turns around and walks back when he was this close to getting to the diamonds, because you can see like about a few millimeters away there was just a whole stockpile of diamonds, right? And that's kind of it. Like, if he kept going, if he kept pushing, if he waited and kept working towards that final hour, then he would have reaped the rewards. And Spirit's asking you to keep going and keep holding out, because it really goes up from here. It goes up from here. You just need to allow it enough time to do that, and allow enough time for Spirit to work their magic. Okay? Let me see what else here. So I saw someone rounding a corner, and they were like I don't know if there was like drama or if there was something happening, but it was somebody rounding a corner. It seemed like they liked to wear a lot of black clothes. They had black fingernails, and that was the main thing. That was the defining thing. So I don't know if you have a loved one that's passed over that has black fingernails, or if this is representative of you. I just assumed at the time it was representative of you, but I don't know what it means. I saw black fingernails, and like that's what spirit wanted me to like focus on. So I'm tuning into that, and I'm like, okay, well, what's the message here? And I see basically this woman, or like somebody, like it's either this woman telling you, or it's just you. They put their hands together, their arms together like this, and they basically said the affirmation, I am powerful. And really just like said that over and over again. And they like it's like they I don't know what even this is. I don't know if it's just armor or like what this is meant to represent, putting their arms in front of them like this, but it's almost like a mantra type of thing. Like that's the mantra that they want you to use, is I am powerful, to try to help pull you through these energies right now. Let's see if I can just read my chicken scratch. I'd be able to like share this with y'all. So, they said all of these events, the whole thing, all of the events are connected. And I don't know if the rest of your people in your life realize that. There's something here about you understanding that a lot of these events are connected. Or that you're experiencing a lot of synchronicity, or there's something interwoven, or you're noticing a pattern that other people don't see in your life. They're not seeing the magic in what you're seeing. There's something about like the interconnectedness of everything that you are understanding that other people in your life are not. And you're right, you're onto something. Spirit's letting you know that you're onto something. Yes, everything is connected, but it's like the energy of everything. You're the only one seeing it, and I don't think you're meant to pick it apart as much as you are. It's, yes, you notice it, and that's amazing. I feel like I am talking to spiritualists here. I am talking to somebody who's on a spiritual path, someone who may be undergoing a spiritual awakening, but I just heard very powerful. It's a very powerful awakening for you. So Spirit is saying, like, Spirit is kind of seeing this as a challenge for you to overcome. This moment in your life, they're seeing it as a challenge for you to overcome. But you must stand in your own power. You're not meant to fix it. The events that have happened, they happened. You can't go back. You can't fix it. You're just meant to live with it. Like to separate from that energy and to move past it. There's something here about learning to move past something. So then I asked Spirit, well, what can I tell these people to do? Like, what can I tell them? How do they navigate it? And first and foremost, they told me to tell you to see your dreams. See them and recognize them. Like in terms of seeing your dreams, recognize the power that those dreams have, because any dreams that you have is potential. It's potential to actually bring it into fruition. It's something that you can actually make your reality, and Spirit wants you to see the true power behind that. You might not see it now. You might not fully believe in it now, but that's what you're working towards in the future. Like that's what you're working towards now. As you move past this energy, it's like, it's how you are recognizing your own power. This is what you are discovering now. There's something about the solar plexus here that really speaks to me, that I feel like your solar plexus, that's our vitality center. It's like located right below the breastbone, like right in the sternum. Is that the sternum? Sternum. Right here, y'all. It's right here, like right above the belly button, and it's like right below your rib cage. That is your solar plexus, your Manipura energy, your shining light, your vitality, your self-confidence, your power, your inner power. And this is what you are learning to strengthen. If you're somebody who always viewed yourself as very weak, or you had low self-esteem, then this area might have been pretty weak for you. But this is something in the chakra system that you're actually learning to expand upon. I get like serious Jupiter vibes from this, like the expansion, the growing. And it's almost like you've always had the confidence, or you've had the power, and maybe that's where a lot of your frustration in life was going, was because you weren't acknowledging or claiming your own power. But this is how you learn. This is like whatever you're going through now, Spirit wants you to learn to claim it. Okay? And I saw a picture of, what else to do to help you navigate it, to help make this challenge a little bit easier for you to overcome, because you will overcome it. You will get there. Spirit wants you to know that. You will get there. I saw a picture of a lion head, which symbolizes inner strength. In my symbolic dictionary. So again, claiming your inner power. And I love that, like, I just talked about solar plexus, and I, like, all of a sudden I see a lion head. So I saw a lion head earlier, but, like, it's funny because, like, as I'm talking about it, like, that's like the lion rules the sun, and they say that the sun is, like, within your, like, we draw in the prana and then we pull it into our solar plexus. And you can pull prana or, like, any energy, any solar energy or whatever into the rest of your body, but that is our shining star, is where that solar plexus is. So if I would assign a lion to any of the chakras, it would be the solar plexus. Um, so I really like that for you. Um, and interestingly enough, I saw a picture of a pencil, and it was curved. It was like bent. It wasn't like bent or broken. Just imagine a really bendy pencil. It was bent on the end towards, like, the eraser part. And Spirit said, "You are not broken." And that's one thing that you need to recognize too, is that you are kind of like, we're not broken, just bent, and we can learn to love again, or something like that. Like I may be bent, but I'm not broken. Like, it's a very common phrase, and that's something that Spirit actually wants you to acknowledge for yourself, is that you are bent, but you're not necessarily broken, and you can learn, you can build up on that again. And because it's close to the eraser of the pencil, it makes me feel like mistakes have been made, or you feel like you potentially make a mistake, or there were mistakes that have been made that you tried to go back and correct, or that you want to go back and correct, but you can no longer do that because the past is in the past. Like, it's meant to be left there. So Spirit's asking you to, like, move forward. Your this is like a really weird, sorry, I'm working with my symbolism here, but your pencil will eventually straighten out. Don't worry. Like, you are bent, you're not broken, and you will move past this. You just need to allow yourself enough time to do that and actually work with the energy to transmute it into healing energy. And another big thing, Spirit wanted me to explain, because they literally just said suffering and healer. So they want me to explain to you the relationship between encountering, like, suffering and then using that to be a healer. Because some of you, whatever you're on a spiritual path. You are meant to be healers in some form or capacity. This doesn't mean you have to do it for a career. This doesn't mean you have to do, like, this doesn't mean you have to, like, make a living off of it. Like, I'm not talking, like, all that capitalist stuff of, like, this is what you have to do to exchange money. Your purpose, your purpose can be ingrained in every single step that you take, every interaction that you have with other people. The way that you carry yourself, the way that you display yourself to the world can be your purpose. And there's something here interacting with your being right now that's helping bring your purpose to the surface and help you recognize who you are and what you came here to do. And I'm getting the chills of my legs as I'm saying that. But the thing the relationship between suffering and being a healer is that oftentimes you will find that spiritualists, anybody who is heavy into this spiritualism field, any, like, new age mediums, psychics, whatever, they're hyper aware for a reason. They're super sensitive because they had to encounter some sort of trauma in, like, earlier in life, or they've had to deal with a lot of traumatic events that have led them to be, like, they've kind of had to train their brain to be in a hyper aware state. A lot of the times people had to be hyper aware to get through their traumatic events, and because of that they trained something in their brain to be able to sense subtle energies. And, like, a lot of people don't realize that they do this because connecting with psychic energy, connecting with, like, spirit in general does require, like, a certain wavelength of the brain. It's more of, like, a subtle aspect of our human natures. Anybody can do it, everyone can do it. It's just a matter of, like, you need to be willing and put forth the effort to do that. It is indulging and embracing the subtle sides of the human mind, because it is a lot of brain activity and such, which is why it's so hard to understand, because neuroscience, first of all, is a whole new field. And you know what? Before I go off on, like, a 5,000,003 tangents about, like, the neuroscience field and how mediumship and spirit communication just kind of, like, intertwine with that, I'm gonna stop right there. All I'm saying is it is super fascinating and it makes perfect sense to me. So with that being said, because, like, when you go into meditation, there are certain wave states that you're in order to receive information. So that's why it's deemed as like a power of the mind type of thing. So back to this, but I'm not going to say, like, you kind of have to, like, go through what you teach so that you can teach it well. So whatever it is that you're going through now, whatever lessons that you're learning is something that you will actually be able to teach later on in your spiritual, whether it be practice, your career, the people that you come across in your life, in whatever form or fashion, regardless of what career path you choose. But that, I don't know, I feel like that just in general is what I have for you. But just know that this is meant to happen. It's meant to kind of push you out of your comfort zone. I do have to say, I don't typically. Who am I kidding? I bring myself into readings all the time. I make sure to read your message as is, but then I'm like, girl, my guy, non-binary friend, I hear you. I feel you because I'm going through this too. Like that I read your message and then I'm like, okay, let me relate here because like I got you and I understand. It's funny because I'm like, as somebody who has gone through this before, I'm able to deliver this message. So that's usually what it's about when like spiritual people do that and they say like, oh yeah, I know this energy because I've had it happen before. But you know, being stuck in the ways of the mind is incredibly difficult to break free from. But understanding how you are moving up, moving on, and moving past your challenges and how you're able to restructure and rebuild your life, first of all, can help bring you a renewed sense of power to yourself and say, damn it, I do got this. And then like another thing being that like, you know, you're helping yourself step into your power that way and helping actually create the things that you want. But looking back, you kind of connect all of the dots and see, okay, I see all of this pattern, but like way beyond in the future. And for whatever reason, for you, I'm getting like a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever, you will be able to look back and you'll be able to say, that sucks that happened. I'm not going to say like, you know, we're glad when awful things happen to us, but I know why that happened. And where I'm at today is because that happened and I made it through it. Or even something as simple as, look at all that shitstorm stuff that happened a year or two ago. I made it. That's how badass I am. And there you have it. But in order to teach, if some of you were looking into a spiritual career, this is going to be important. So write that down. I just said write that down. So some of you might actually have to write down some of your spiritual experiences, and that might actually help you process some of your emotions if you're not writing things down already. But I know a psychic once told me, or a psychic medium, I actually saw her recently, because I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, she came at the perfect time and everything. Like, she came right into my path, the first booth I saw at a fair, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. And she had actually told me something that's like, you know, you need to write down you need to journal. You need to write down the things that are happening so that you can actually look back. Like, you will forget. She said, she made that very clear. She's like, you will forget. And I was like, I don't doubt it. I forget everything. So she's like, write that down, because then you will be able to, when you look back, you will be able to connect the dots and see, first of all, how far you've come, how much more powerful you are. And there's more to it. There's more to be discovered from looking back. Things that I don't even think Spirit is telling me about, like what I'm going to write down. And I feel like they're not really like, I feel like for you, I'm seeing a lot of blue for some reason and going up blue steps, or like circular stepping stones. So like for you in particular, for this message, here's where I have to remove myself again. For you in particular, looking back, you will see them as stepping stones to your dreams. Oh, maybe that does relate to me too. I don't know. But I'll have to do some reflecting on that later. But like for you specifically, I see you hopping from one thing to the next. And again, they're giving me like a Mario image for you, which is so funny. I think it's so cute. But they're jumping from pop, 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 like stepping stone to stepping stone. And you are like getting to like your dreams, even though these stepping stones feel awful. It feels like a loss. It feels like they were under such messy circumstances that you could not fathom how they could ever come from Spirit. But trust me when I say that this is the shift that you needed, and it's time. I just heard it's about time this happened. So rest assured that you are on the right path. Please hang in there a little longer. Keep going, because again, write it down, and in hindsight, you will see how all of these pieces will fit together in your life. You see it now. Try not to be hyper aware of it. Just write it down to reflect on later. And like later as in like give it time, give it months, give it a year, give it 2 years, and then just keep consistently writing down like the things that are happening, journal about your life, and then eventually you can look back and say, oh, I see how spirit was there with me the whole time. Does that make sense? Like I'm doing that a little bit now, but it's more of like it's so interesting because as I channeled this message, I made some realizations about some of the things happening to me recently, and I was like, they were with me the whole time. Like, as I'm seeing things, and it's so funny because, like, when we're going through it, it's hard to see it at that moment. And sometimes, like, in your position, I feel like it'll take, like, a year or two in order for you to look back and go, oh, snap. Like, I see where spirit, like, like, is helping me. I see where they were there. Like, when they were there, what they were doing, why they were doing what they were doing. And it's funny because as of recently, like for me, like I'm past that stage now and I'm at a point, and maybe this is something like it's spirit's like share it, so I'm going to share it with you. You will get to a point where as your world is crumbling down around you again, because life inevitably does that, and as you are encountering challenges again, you will walk with spirit because you will be able to see. We are all walking with spirit, but you won't have to. I mean, I still write all of my stuff down because I just think it's cool and it's good practice. But looking at the situation now, I would not have been able to look at all of the things happening right now if I like and say that spirit is like, I would not actually be able to see anything that spirit is doing, and I see it all now as it's happening in real time, and it is actually relieving a lot of the pressure. It is relieving a lot of my anxieties about the situations that I'm in. It's helping me cope a little bit better. It's building my faith, basically. As I feel like your faith is bleeding out, I feel like you are learning to strengthen that over time as you first recognize your own power, because that is just always the first step. It always starts with the core. It always starts with the self. And then you eventually build. So you can't really start with faith in the divine. I guess you can. Everybody's path is different. Who am I to say that? But for me, it's always been personal power first, then receiving help and acknowledging that help from the divine and being able to see it. Because if I can't see my own power, it's hard for me to see other people's power. So that being said, that is the message that I have for you. I hope it helped. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do want to say that I am offering personal readings right now. I do have them through Fiverr while I'm working on a website to put up, which is going to be super cool. And I'm so excited for it. So it's linked down below if you wanted a personal reading from me. And yeah. Leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, all that if this resonated with you, and if you would like to share a little bit about your life and how this resonated with you. Of course, if you so feel called, you don't have to, but it really does help the channel grow to have some of your engagement and have some feedback. So I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.